So, what happened last time, guys?
Yeah.
Step back, guys. I got this.
Yeah.
The recap.
There was feelings in the temple. Enough.
We woke up from the temple, decided to proceed and prepare to go to the Stone Dragons. We proceeded to the Stone Dragons. We found ruins. We kept on going. We came to the circle. Kai was like, "Oh yeah, this is it." And then she went in and then was like, "Oh, hey, Allie." After she told people, to like, please watch after me. Allie was there, and apparently Allie's a jealous bitch. Because when she came back out, she said, "I love you, Zill," and Zill was like, "Well, I took some damage." But at the same time, we got some questions for Allie, and she didn't remember much. But Kai asked about the aspects and the virtues, and specifically Lunar and Solus, which she was actually kind of afraid of. She was in prison. So we're trying to figure out what she's in prison for, but she did mention that her memories are scattered and apparently one around eating animals in the area. So we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and what the fuck is up with that.
Yep.
That's how you play what the fuck is up with that, Taliesin.
Yeah, I mean, quick and easy. To give Isaac a heads up of considering he missed last week, these 4 individuals are the NPCs that will be traveling with you and guiding you to the Stone Dragons.
I'm not seeing. Let's see. Okay.
There's Tempest, the Dragonborn.
If you hover over them, you can see their names.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the furthest right one.
Can you guys see that one?
Yep.
It's everyone.
It's not showing my name, or it's not letting me. I hover over it. I don't see it.
Are you talking about Planexia?
Is that her name?
Oh,
Next to.
Oh, that would explain
When
it.
I'm hanging.
Okay, so that one I messed up and didn't have her name. There we go. Now you can see it.
Can I? Oh yeah.
So yeah, but currently, as you guys decided to use this shrine to commune with Solus, for some reason, the 5 of you vanished.
Gone for 5 minutes, and you guys.
In our defense, we should have kept watch better.
What do you mean you kept watch? We literally asked for this.
I did no such thing.
1 second, as I need to.
To be fair, did you really expect anything less from us?
Nope.
You shouldn't.
Oh, actually, I did place you guys on here. I just had you on the wrong layer. There you go. To quickly recap what you guys saw once you arrived here, you basically saw how this place became ruins. As you saw a white dragon with crimson fiery breath destroying the city around you.
Hubris, right?
Yep, hubris.
Are we literally in fire range?
It seems to be out in the distance, as this area has already been destroyed. You see some of the crimson fire around you, but it's not necessarily threatening you at the moment.
This is why I don't commune with gods.
Is there a piece of grass around or something? Stick?
Make a perception. There is some grass, but it seems, compared to where you guys were before, this time it is burnt up. It's also on the outside of the walls, as this place was, where the stones were solid, where the building was intact, and now is thrown around.
No problem. Kai's going to yeet one of her torches into a fire and see if it actually catches fire, if it's mainly a vision or a memory. So just yeet that torch.
We don't want to see his flames.
It's interesting. You see the torchlight. As it touches the crimson fire.
So, maybe a vision and all, but it seems to interact with us. Don't want to get burned by it.
Definitely not. Can we see beyond, we can see beyond this temple, but do we see people other than, or is it all just ruins?
Make a perception. For all those who wish to take a look around their surroundings.
12.
30-20.
How about you, Starla?
Sorry, I was changing
Starla,
Sorry, I was changing my spells on roll 20.
Yeah, sounds good.
To match it. Give me a minute. Character sheet. What was it again?
Perception. If you wish to look around your surroundings and see what things are doing. So for Avaris, you're kind of looking around and you don't quite see the people, but you can hear them. You can hear the screams. As for Kai and Starla, you see out and you see some people running, trying to find any type of shelter, and in some occasions Hubris, which is a dragon that Kai has seen, but Starla, this is the first time you're witnessing it, as you see it just destroy some of the shelters that some of the civilians have run into.
I will point to it for Leona. So apparently that's a majestic asshole. It looked pretty cool before, and burning these people. It's just an asshole.
Leona, as you look towards Hubris, you see something higher, something in the sky.
Okay.
As you see a violet light, and suddenly something impact the dragon.
Is that like... No way. Is this who I think?
Leona, spit it out.
I just saw a violet light hit Hubris. Some violet light hit Hubris.
Points harder.
As Leona points it out to everyone, Hubris points his attention to the sky as one violet light shone through. Another one flies towards him, as these things look like giant arrows. As go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, just try to trace back from where those arrows are originating from.
Make me another perception.
Not going to do better than that 18. Time to roll low.
Yeah. It's hard to tell as the sky is turned black with clouds. Seems from all the destruction and smoke from the area has turned the sky into smog.
I want to proceed, but
Well, why not?
I don't want to get fucked up.
Varys tries to pick up a stone. Can he interact with anything?
As you try to pick it up, you are able to touch it.
He'll take the stone, pocket it. Well, seems we're here physically enough. But we're here to see something. I doubt Solus would show something like this. So perhaps we need to go further in to see what they want us to see.
That sounds like a good idea.
Is the beginning of the end? Or it could be the end of a beginning, an uprising, so to speak.
Well,
It's like you said,
certainly destruction of a civilization.
and like you said, we
But-
won't find out much here, so I'm in agreement. Just let's move forward carefully, please.
I'm not going to stick my hand in the flames, but yes. Though, you see Avaris look at the flames. If I can take this back with me.
And I won't stick my hand in the flames, but can I catch this? Here. She brings another one of her torches and has the tip of it go into the Hubris flames. Just enough to kind of, not burn up the whole goddamn thing, but here you go, Avaris. If you could figure out how to do something with that.
I wonder if you'd... I guess within the bag of holding there's no air. It wouldn't keep alight, would it?
Well, this is...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think this is the Radiant Dragon Breath. I'm not sure if it's technically fire. But it's up to you to decide.
No, just a little experiment.
Before you put it in the bag of holding.
Screaming around.
Before you do that, something hasty, like put that into a bag of holding, because God, now that's something I would have to think about. What would happen when you set the
carefully.
When you set the torch on fire with the crimson fire, what you notice is that the fire is burning the torch faster than what you would normally expect from fire. Also, when you see fire burning something, you see it eating away at the substance that it's holding, or that's holding the fire. This seems to be disintegrating it. And honestly, the torch might not last for too long.
I don't have that many torches. I mean, I do, but I don't have the attention span to keep hot swapping them.
By the way, what's the passive perception of you two?
Oh god. 15.
This isn't the character, okay? 13.
13, and what was yours, Avaris?
15.
You feel like something is has been watching you this whole time, like a presence nearby.
Only Avaris, right?
I mean, anyone with eyes, because it's not making itself. It's just hilarious that no one has at least pointed it out or has just kept quiet about it. Yep.
Oh, is it puppy?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it. I just thought it was like something you guys didn't like.
It was
I was thinking like I was thinking like did someone explain this person to me and I missed it, or is no one talking about it? So I just kind of
It was totally, my screen was focused in,
I
and then I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And then moved over. Oh.
I figured. I was going to wait to see how long it would take you guys to realize that something's just been chilling there as a token.
No, Sleepy Anthony saw it. I just
Yeah, okay,
it
that's my
didn't
bad.
register in my brain, but Anthony.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me like 2 minutes to register. Oh, what the fuck is that thing?
My
Yeah.
passive perception is 17. Would I have? Noticed?
Oh yeah, you would have noticed it, but you're just like,
Okay, cool.
I don't know if Starla would have just been like, so is anyone else just kind of ignoring it, or...
Yeah. So I was just like, all right. Does anybody else want to just talk about the person over there staring at us?
The dog in the room? Yes? No, I don't want to talk about it.
I just now realized that it was there.
Interesting enough, they can see us.
Doing great, guys.
Maybe they are trying to guide us, and for some reason we've been ignoring. Are we ignoring you, boy? Okay.
It looks at you, and it has that, like, dumb dog look with his tongue just sticking out and just panting.
Oh, he's a good boy.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
I might be attacked, but it will be worth it.
You and animals.
Animal handling.
I'm a guidance on myself.
Never works out the way you think it does.
Not terrible.
Oh, no.
I got 50%.
So you, as you give it scritches, you notice that like he lets you do it. But you notice like as you're giving him scratches, like his fur, it seems to have like ashes and dust coming from it, like constantly falling from it.
Oh,
It's got eczema.
it's harder to make a nice little smoke cloud.
And then that's when he kind of like nips at you. It's not an attack. It's more of like a playful nom.
Okay. Nip, kiss on the nose.
He just sticks tongue out.
You good boy.
Did it infect you?
Do I look ashy?
Yes.
Not more than normal.
It's a skin condition, okay?
Seeing a dermatologist
Man.
You heard of the ocean.
when I come back to life.
Just because I'm albino, they think they got jokes.
So, is this a shadow dog, or is this a humanoid that's giving us happy looks?
Don't know.
Yeah, is it more of a dog?
It seems like a dog. It's similar to Animus, but slightly different personality.
I am good with dogs.
Yeah, I was gonna go say Shadow Eminence.
Give me a minute. I'm good with animals.
Yeah. All the scritches. Starla, as you go in for the scratches and it lets you, and just like, starts, its leg starts, doing, you're hitting that right spot,
Where'd you come from, boy?
With a 17 passive perception, you notice something.
14.
17 would be slightly higher as like to kind of notice this, but considering you're also near him, you notice that everybody's shadow is under it. unnaturally.
Like our shadows are under
Yep. Like everyone's shadows are being pulled towards it.
towards it, huh?
No. No thank you. I like my chateau.
It's not. It's more of like it's being directed and he's standing on it. It's not like you don't feel, your essence being pulled out of you or anything like that.
I'll do a quick lap around to confirm.
Yep. It's strange, as if there's a light source behind you at all times, and it's being cast on this creature.
I mean, Shadow's not the original. Umbra has been used a lot.
I don't know. What do you think of this?
I think we shall think of a good name later as we travel.
Do we bring him with?
What you're keeping
No.
it?
The puppo will bring us with. Right? Isn't that right, boy?
Tongue out, panting even faster, gets up
I'll look down.
and starts walking away.
I follow.
Looks back at you. Sees you follow.
Avaris, I think we should follow.
Ugh. Fine. Just as long as you know it's not going to eat my shadow.
I don't know that,
I
but
can neither confirm nor deny, yes.
Fine. He kind of like looks at it, just like.
100 sisters.
Leona's just like, I
All
think
right.
too much. I'm not gonna question it.
They'll keep distance.
It's okay, boy. I know you're good. Prove
What?
Yeah.
You don't even know if it's a corruption or not.
Yeah, but what corruption have you saw? Besides Aiko, that was willing to not attack us on sight.
I don't have that much. We've experienced them for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Sure.
And every last one of them attacked us on sight.
Yep.
Except Aiko.
I still don't trust it. But we're not going to be left here alone.
We'll keep an eye on him. We gotta come up with a name. Alright.
Are you afraid of
Take-
puppos?
What do you mean, am I afraid of dogs? I just have no interest in them.
That
I
makes
like
me
lizards.
It's pretty metal. But,
Okay.
but it's a puppers.
So lizards are better.
Avaris is scaly.
Literally, and looks at the lizard folk version.
I'll look at the shadow dog. Like, take us to wherever you wanted to take us.
As you guys travel for a bit, you start to hear the fighting between whatever's shooting at Hubris. Give me 1 second. Let me check what. Oh, just looking at what Kenny's putting. As you guys start to follow the shadow, you notice it stops sometimes or it pauses and then looks up and sees you all see Hubris suddenly go into the sky and start to fight whatever has been shooting at it.
I have my theories, but unless you want me to say it's Allie. Maybe Allie was a threat, so they banished her, but let's keep going.
As you guys move on, eventually it takes a while and you see the destruction, but in a moment, the crimson fire starts to fade away.
Ooh, around the ground?
Yeah,
Okay.
and replacing it starts turning into violet colors, into violet flowers. And eventually you hear a large thundering sound as you see hubris falling from the sky.
It doesn't look like it's plummeting towards us, right?
It is. It does not seem like it's plummeting towards you.
Okay.
Well, in that case, I think we should get out of the way.
You do see like a dust cloud form when it landed, but you all do seem far away enough to where it's won't affect you.
So that's what my people call getting Yamchat. But Leona, don't just, no sucky.
What?
You
I'm not
know,
gonna
like,
try. I'm not gonna try and do that to hubris. I don't know how.
Avaris was confused for a moment.
Also, phrasing.
what did you do? Did you not
I
suck
wasn't
off
gonna
a
do
dragon?
it.
Just want to make sure.
As you guys continue to walk and converse, eventually you notice where you once were start to slowly change. The dark clouds start to disappear as it suddenly turns to a blue sky.
We're in a lunchroom.
Yep.
In a banquet hall.
As you guys continue walking, you eventually make it to what seems like a banquet hall.
Okay. Just round. Get some
It's like
meat.
a pool, like a little pond in
Yep.
the middle.
It's interesting. You start to hear as if people are in this very room, like celebrating something, enjoying their meal, laughing, celebrating.
What does it sound like you're even celebrating?
Make me a perception.
And can we understand their language?
12.
That's a very good question, Avaris. Leona,
Have they
what-
noticed us?
that's the thing, is that you don't see them celebrating. You just hear the events.
Oh, okay.
You could only hear what's going on, though the food is as where it is, and some of them do go missing, but you do not see the creatures that are consuming them or talking. You only hear what's going on.
It's a different realm.
Leona, what languages do you know?
Common, Infernal, and Celestial.
You hear a little bit of Celestial, but it's hard to pick out like exactly what they're saying, especially in this dialect. It's not in a Celestial. It sounds like Celestial, but it's not quite the same.
Okay. Can I touch the food?
Yeah.
I think I'm feeding the puppo. Alright.
I'm just gonna grab me a turkey leg.
So you go for a turkey leg. Kai, do you also go for a turkey leg and feed?
The puppo?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out what's going on and doesn't see a
I
need
reach
for
one
the
for
couple
myself.
not to eat in a time being while she's trying to think.
It kind of like he takes it happily. Immediately starts to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
For you two, do you consume what's on the table?
Oh yeah, I'm eating it.
Actually, no, I won't. I'll just observe.
Avaris is going to step into the fountain.
You feel warm, like the water is relaxing. Yeah. The smell of the petals inside in the pool as well are also refreshing.
Hmm.
Leona eating that piece of meat is fine.
So far.
Yeah.
Can you hear anything over there, Starla?
Do I hear anything?
Yeah.
Make a perception.
Yeah, it was.
You and your perceptions.
Both of you
Between
make.
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Let's go.
What languages do you? What languages do you two know?
Nothing.
Common, deep speech, Elvish, Infernal.
And nothing celestial adjacent is common, elvish, and undercommon.
The two elves that tried to listen in, you guys hear Elvish at this side of the table.
Huh.
What are we hearing? Anything specific?
It's still hard to tell because again you catch a couple words here and there, but the dialect is different compared to what you normally hear from Elvish. You do catch go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, so my undercommon is, specifically more towards
The drow side.
Yeah.
You don't seem to hear anything close to drow as of right now.
Okay.
It's pretty just plain Elvish. But an older dialect. You are able to catch a couple things here and there of understanding some of the words that they're saying as you hear they she defeated the beast. Good riddance to that disgusting creature.
I specifically, oh damn, I gave her a name, so that's not her actual name.
Try to listen for.
I will try to hear a description of possibly what she looked like fighting, or what her armor might have looked like, or anything like that, and compare it to what I saw of Aoi.
Okay. Make another perception. And are you exclusively listening to the two here, or anywhere else in the room?
Anywhere she could try to pick it up.
Okay.
Because most likely, if someone's regaling events, it will either be over here or a bard somewhere that might be singing of what happened or something.
1 second. With that perception, you do hear. It's interesting. At the end of the table where you guys were, you hear almost a familiar voice. As if. And then you kind of finally pick it up. It sounds close to Aoi. but not a young girl.
I'm pretty sure the form she's in now is not her actual form. Or even potentially, not as young as she thought. So she would definitely listen in for a bit. Hey, Starla. There's a voice over here.
I reach.
I want
I
you
lean
to.
in. Do I recognize it?
You do not, as you've never met Owie. I am trying to find certain something, and it is not in my notes.
Owie sounds similar to this.
For Kai, you said you were listening to certain music, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to listen out for, because the bards know, and the rumors float around bards. So listen for the music, and that should be a good start.
You hear a familiar lullaby. Different
And then
lyrics,
you turn
though,
up
but
the
same
music
tune.
up,
What was that?
as in, yeah, I gotta turn up Probot. I take it, right?
It's not playing it right now.
Okay.
Copyright. Also, I haven't had a chance to change the lyrics a bit to, But you hear some of the lyrics, and it's slightly different from what you heard, or what even Kailthas heard, back in the Domain of Wind. And you hear some of the lyrics, and you hear the King of Nothing.
The King of Nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the song? Because that sounds like an awesome song name.
It's in the song.
It's in the song?
Can I fail a history check to try to remember any songs?
Yeah.
Put that in there. Okay, let's go for that history check.
To help Isaac out a bit. Actually, you know what? This part I will probably edit out because
What is it, music?
just to use the
Maybe if you just link it and whatchamacallit, and we can individually listen to it.
yeah.
So not at it.
It will be in the music chat.
Honey is quietly singing the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh, was it the song she sung for Kailthas? That one time when I nat 20'd it?
Yep.
Oh.
It's that one, but slightly different lyrics. Like, this is through, years of it being changed. That's the version you guys have heard. Through Kailthas, within the memories that he remembers with Fenthea and the song she sang, and you going through taverns and running into different types of songs and hearing a version of this. This seems to be the original.
Mm-hmm.
you hear what is brought up of the Nowhere King, the King of Nothing. Almost a song of like a boogeyman.
The king of the boogeyman. What kind of check is it referencing? Is that more history stuff?
History.
Oh.
Depends. What are you trying to look into again?
Trying to figure out what this story is about, or who is it referencing?
It's still hard to tell of like from the perception of like what you can pick up in the song in the room. It's hard to tell like some of the stuff as it's still a language you don't fully understand, but you can pick it out and it's the same tune. That's the thing. The lyrics through, songs of history can possibly change to suit, whoever's singing it or things like that, but sometimes the tune stays the same.
Does
There
it
can
slap?
be yeah. It depends on your taste. But it seems to be a reference. Make an insight check. Oof.
Daily worse.
It's hard to tell.
Distracted by the
flute.
flute playing. Just hitting the wrong buttons. Too much air being blown. I don't know. I don't know this tune. Well, I know the tune, I just don't know what it's referencing. I'm not one for investigations.
Don't look at me, I'm not into music.
Someone help them
I'm
out.
into music, but you're into the smarts behind it.
I like the music too. Pretty good. Actually, Adley has taken her third turkey leg. What? If no one's gonna stop me, I'm gonna keep doing it.
That's fine. I'm going to see what happens when you return. If it's all empty or if you get poisoned.
And I will regret nothing.
Well, that's something I can usually cure. Though if it gets ripped out of your stomach when we return, that'd be a very interesting result.
What's being ripped out of what stomachs?
So just seeing if it's has to be forced to stay in the past.
Well, that's for future Leona to worry about.
Exactly.
I'll look at the dog. The puppers. Is this where you wanted to take us, boy?
Dumb dog face. Happy dumb dog face.
You really should ask it what it's connected to. If it's connected to one of the aspects.
I feel like the aspects would have told us if they were sending something, wouldn't they?
And then, have they said anything since they sent us here? They may not be able to.
Barry, I don't think even
I feel like the aspects would have given
power.
I'll inspect the dog again, see if there's any note or message.
Give me an investigation check.
You know, you could just ask it. It's a yes or no question.
He doesn't seem to be answering my questions, though.
Well, did you ask it?
Who sent you?
Don't say it's gotta be a yes or no question.
How close
Are you
how close are you to it when you ask that?
I'm like right here. Like,
I mean, where's your face?
like right in, is that the front of it? Yeah, like
Yeah.
the front of it, I guess. Yeah, the front.
All right, it licks you in the face.
Does anything happen to me?
Nope.
You sent it. You sent it.
Right.
It was you all along.
Did the aspect send you?
Turn head.
It
The
turned its
couple
head,
already
like,
answered
it's
you.
like saying no?
Turns head in confusion.
No.
Hey boy, was it Starla or was it Salune?
Solus.
Confusion.
Was it Starla that sent you? If so, look Starla.
I was waiting for Kenny to do it, but fucking hell, I have to voice this. Oh no.
I'll say like any minute now.
Thousands of years have gone and no one has decided to talk.
You could talk to animals the entire time?
The
No,
one
only for the
person,
next 10 minutes.
the one person that can talk to it cannot talk at the moment in the Discord.
Yeah.
Kenny, if you can hear me, type in the thing what you ask it, either in the Discord or the Roll20 version. If not, then we'll just have the players,
You'll speak through.
yeah.
Kailthas.
We'll have him translate our questions quotation.
What is your name, boy? Or girl?
Who is your master?
This is the DM's favorite question.
I have a name. It is a great name.
Oh god, how would this dog sound? I always picture it being so dumb. Because he was dumb.
Yes, can he even ask what's your name?
Me? I am but a shadow.
But a shadow.
And my master is soulless.
Butter shadows.
Did Solus send you?
Tilted. Yes, soulless. Asked me to guide.
To guide?
To guide.
And what are you guiding us through or to?
I am guiding you through memories. And I am guiding you to my master.
Whose memories?
What he remembers, though this is what he heard of as he was not here. As he looks toward in the room.
Looks short too.
Into the room.
Oh.
So, he saw the fight happening with Hubris earlier. The dragon.
Yes, that was Hubris, but not. Hubris came later. That
So
was him.
The dragon was soulless?
Yes.
The dragon was soulless.
And
we saw Solus get smacked into the ground by what?
By her.
what do we know?
Yes. Beautiful violet light.
No, Bilunar?
Yes.
So, Solus is into getting beat?
I hate you. Tilts head in confusion.
So, dominated, like,
You explain it to him.
so, yeah. So,
No.
like, you show who's
Defeated.
the head of... And then he became from the dragon to what he is now.
Yes. Then they celebrated.
Is hubris a did he separate from hubris? Were they one at a point in time?
Yes. Hubris
He
was the
smacked
first.
us.
The first virtue?
The first aspect. The first to separate.
So all aspects are part of virtues that separate, go their own ways. So when they're destroyed,
They return.
they can return and be separated again.
I'm the second.
From Solus.
Yes. The second aspect. He wanted friend.
You're the best boy aspect.
Smile.
First game of Scriptures.
Dumb dog smile. Smile. Just except scritches.
So what are we supposed to be paying attention to through these areas?
Thinks a bit. To know what happened. To see what happened.
A lot of remembrance going on. Forgetting of memory. To see what happened between what, exactly?
How things became what they are. And why. And as it says that.
Huh.
You see the room starts to be covered in, or reveal what it is.
The Red Wedding. Not again.
Does that really meet that I fed you?
It was, at one point. It was good. But then it turned bad.
Looks at Leona.
Leona.
Feeling sick.
I have done nothing.
Leona seems fine.
I didn't do anything yet.
I wasn't really being accusatory. I was trying to see if you were okay after eating the meat. Now
I
that
feel
it turned
fine.
bad.
Starla and Kai, with your passive perceptions, you start to hear a different type of voices.
Is it like people getting slaughtered?
Exactly.
That's a different melody.
Can
That's
we hear like a different? I guess
It seems like
The
two
voice-
sides
the voice-
fighting each other.
can we make out who the other side is based on the voices that were there before the carnage started?
Make a insight check.
Sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me. One screening over here, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wait, what?
The highest insight, but the poor roll.
I like that reaction. Wait, what?
Nani?
confused.
It's hard to tell through all the fighting. Kai with a 13, you're able to pick up the different dialects again, but they are. It's similar to when you read the writing on the floor when you met Aoi. They're all in different languages, except this time you're hearing all the different types of languages.
Give me a moment, please. She'll close her eyes and try to hear any voices shouting of like, hey, we're under attack, and potentially what they're under attack by.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah. Perception.
Deep breath. Holds it
Nice.
in this.
The 22. With the languages you know, you don't quite hear the Undercommon as much. But the other languages you start to hear, like, not necessarily a war, it is more people grabbing things, killing each other for what they have. It's almost just them asking for things or yelling for things. Give me this, give me that. I need this.
Has corruption spread before? He's asking the puppo. If you don't know Butter Shadows, then it's okay.
It kind of like thinks for a bit. Corruption. The first corruption.
Was the first corruption this? She'll hold up a picture she drew of Allie.
Tilts head a bit. Familiar, but not the first.
Was she spawned from that said corruption?
No.
Was she one to be corrupted?
If she was here, she would have witnessed this.
When Kailthas says Aiko, the shadow doesn't recognize the name.
It's okay, I have a picture. Here you go.
As you show it, like images of, I'm assuming you also show it the Wanderer.
The Wanderer.
If you have that one.
The thing she saw.
The Wanderer was the thing you guys fought in the Feywilds in the Domain of Wind that escaped in the from the ritual.
A deer kaiju.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Okay.
I was talking about. I was showing her the thing she saw with
Aiko.
Aoi.
Or with Aoi.
She's showing
gotcha.
them all the pictures.
Okay, yeah. So
all of them.
He doesn't recognize the Great Beyond, which is the creature that was with Aoi. He kind of recognized the picture of Aoi, but not really. You show him the Wanderer and the one, It Who Hungers. And it says, corruptions, but not the first. Future. Not now. Not in this moment. Not yet. the first? What's the solution?
Not good with grammar, and I'm not quite following. Anyone else can explain it to me, I'll be happy.
Asking a dog to have good grammar.
Perhaps what it's trying to say is that what it's looking at is the corruption, but not the first. Is this the first corruption? This destruction here.
No.
So it is merely another sense of corruption or desire. I'll phrase that better. Was this bloodbath due to corruption, or merely due to greed and hubris?
No, but yes. Not by the creatures that call corruption, but by your own corruption.
Ah. The normal dark side of every mortal.
They were hungry.
Did you say they weren't hungry, or they were?
They were hungry.
Oh, I'm with Kailthas.
So perhaps this is what birthed that's deep hunger. Maybe.
Someone take notes, please.
Lore drop, motherfuckers! You better pay attention.
So, I'm just gonna ask the question I wanted. Was Aoi born from Lunaran Solus? Is Aoi their child?
No.
Alright.
So Aoi is not an aspect of or
No.
a virtue.
No.
Interesting.
Do you know what the Aoi is?
Once alive, once leader,
Once alive
once alive,
and once the leader.
there were 5 leaders.
Did one of those... Is there currently 5 leaders that replaced Aoi?
No.
Were Solus and Lunara one of those 5 leaders?
One was.
Lunara.
Wait. Not of 5. She was higher than them.
The 5 answered to her.
Yes.
Did she answer to anyone?
No.
Perhaps the better question is, was there once mortal leaders that ruled this place instead of aspects? And then they had to... They
Yes.
see the folly... Yes. They see the fault of having mortals, the greed, the darkness.
Once mortal. Given gift by beautiful violet light. No longer mortal. Hungry.
They became more, but it wasn't correct, and then they became Hungry for something. Desire.
The 10 minutes is about to run out.
Don't worry, you can cast it again. Is there anywhere special that you must show us before we head to Solus?
Take you to Master.
Just directly to him.
Will take some time, but not a lot. You can see.
Then please take us to your master then.
Wait. The stuff that we bring in this room, if we bring it back to the realm, does it come with us?
Tilt's head in confusion.
More like, let's look for a bag of gold first and test that from a broke bitch.
Wow. God damn it. Make an investigation.
Ain't shit here, okay. Sorry to hold you guys up.
Do you continue to follow the shadow?
I'll follow. I'm following after him.
Of course I'm gonna follow up.
As you guys follow, it seems that this area was the start. But as you continue on, you start to hear and start to sometimes even start to see humanoid creatures, but they are also in shadowy forms. You can't see the facial features, you can't see the clothes that they're wearing, but you can see them interacting with each other, moving things throughout this city. And in one instance, you see a bunch of children climbing through the roofs, and you even see one fall.
Well, okay. I was about to say, I was about to see them, and I was going to cast guidance on them as they climb, just in case.
Can I have Leona try and catch one of the kids before they fall?
Sure.
Alright.
Let's see, athletics.
Is that a save or a check? Because
A
if
check.
so, okay, then the guidance is going to go to Leona.
Okay.
Then.
18.
You perfectly do you slide on your knees to get into position to catch, and it's funny because it goes straight through your arms and hits the ground below you. But in that instance, the shadowy form just gets back up and then continues to catch up with their friends.
I was going to tell you, Leona, kids are resilient. You can literally break one in half and they just get right back up and start running, as long as you don't acknowledge their pain.
There's him looked out at worry how far he fell.
It would have been very painful. The way they fell, how far up it was, that would have broken back. It would have just not been good for him.
That kid was in
That's the reason why I caught them.
There's definitely, as would say, there should have been at least some pain there. But that he got right back up is interesting.
So, I don't know if you ever seen a kid fall, but if you go oh my god, are you okay? That's when they start crying and they want attention. But if you just ignore it, they're fine.
That says so much about Kai's backstory that that's very concerning.
No, he was just Should I be worried?
That's
Looking like shiny worried.
It is the hands drow.
That would have been possibly devastating. I'm looking at Kenny's. I don't know if you saw chat.
Active, yeah. Kill kids.
Oh,
Fuck them kids.
Actually, they shoot the kids. Guys, don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it. They will be fine. Okay.
As you guys continue forward, you start to see like these shadowy figures do things that normal people cannot. Like there's even like forms of games of just like even just stabbing each other.
Wait a minute.
And them just laughing it off.
This isn't a memory anymore, Papa. Are these shadows alive?
They have no death.
It is a memory. If it was if you guys cast an animal or talk to animals again for 10 minutes. Looks at Kailthas for
They have no idea of death. They enjoy the pain. There is nothing beyond this?
Masochist.
Well, if you have no concept of death, why would you care if you die or not? Or get stabbed or not, if you cannot die?
Cultists.
As you guys continue to walk, you start to see what happened in the food hall. You start to see people arguing, you start to see people wanting things that others have and start to fight for it.
But they can't die, right?
You see the eternal struggle. There's some that overpower others and take, but then the other one gets back up and immediately tries to get it back.
What are they fighting over Shadow?
You make a perception check.
Yeah.
You see them. It's shadowy versions of things, but you can start to see like what they were fighting over. You see them fighting over gold, food, possessions, other people.
Don't understand.
This guy's brain is hurting.
Perhaps the desires were born from something, either magical or innate, but if this greed was just them being mortal, perhaps. There's a limit. Usually when there's something out of stock, you gather it, hoard it. If you can't get it anymore, you seek it and desire it. What are they lacking that make them desire all this? Or was it an outside force?
The shadow seems to keep moving forward.
I passes out on the Shadow from all these explanations. Get dragged for it.
I'm gonna keep following Shadow.
Same.
Eventually, you see the city and top of it, you see it's similar to the Domain of Iron. And you see kind of like towards the middle, and suddenly a loud crash, a loud explosion as something breaks through. And you see something similar to Hubris released once again.
Like Hubris.
So like a
Or-
dragon, or
It's like a mix between the two. It's like a dragon and a person. It has the wings of one, but the person...
That one's the beginning of Solus. That's Solus right there. I think through the constant cycles of want and greed, the process of virtues and the other things, aspects, were created. And through trial runs and tests over and over, they finally got what we know as Solus. And each time that the cycle had to go, he had to purge. And potentially he kept purging, where Lunara had to say, "Sit, boy," and bam, right to the ground. And then he eventually became tame. I read a book. It was about this demon dog and this one woman, brave archer. It was fantastic.
Kai's brain is about to implode from all the thinking.
We all just like. So we're seeing the memories of Solus just being the prototype, the first prototype to aspects then?
I think so. Because big dragon before, raging, powerful, uncontrolled and unyielding fury. And then Lunara came and was like, no, bad. Can't have that. And then the cycle started again. People started wanting more and more and more, and it got out of control. Then we must raise Solus again. Unleash Solus. Look at the powerful fury. There's like wings, and then there's like person, the in-between, so to speak, right? And then watch. It's probably going to get out of control, or he's going to tame himself and become even more man-like to the Solus that we are used to. Unless Nara puts him down again, the cycle continues once again, and then Solus is what he is, the form, the perfect thing, answering to Lunara, right? Follow me, I think. But all these constant cycles of want and greed, little by little, the corruption began to grow. And because the corruption kept growing, we couldn't get rid of it all. And now it finally surfaces. But it is a cycle, I think. And the corruption is like, oh, but we were here first, right? Because technically, in the timeline, the corruption was here before Solus. And the corruption feels that, hey, this is our world, and you came in, you destroyed us. We came back to claim what is rightfully ours.
So the corruption is both jealous and pissed at Solus and Lunar for invading and stealing what's theirs.
While this whole conversation is happening, the whole entire area is just being wiped out. So like there's a fire, like crimson fire, just again just paving a path of destruction right behind you guys as Kai is just going through this like this monologue of like
It's going like boom.
Yeah, and there's an actual legit explosion happening like right behind her.
I think you're making it a little bit more complicated than it is, but it's a good start.
But wait, what happens here? Like, let's watch the dragon. Does he get smacked down or does it control its fury? It's
Let's see
happening
that.
before our eyes, I think.
I think you are correct that is Solus in the end, but I don't think there's more than one cycle. This could be the first cycle.
No. This is the second already that we have been shown. The first one was when we already came and everything was destroyed, and he was the big dragon. Then he got dominated by Lunara, and then we started watching things at peace, people playing, and then they wanted more, and they wanted more, and then they started fighting and killing each other over it. And then this hybrid in between, Solus, has now sprung from the ground and started wiping things out again. This is the second cycle.
In this monologue. You, it seems that Solus has, as destruction continues, and eventually there's no more shadow people around anymore. What's left is just the Crimson Fire, and as Kai finishes and points towards or gestures towards Solus, you see Solus flying away.
And I think there's about to be a flower soon being sprung over potentially that way.
You do.
I don't feel like waiting for it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I don't feel like waiting for the flower to bloom.
You do see Solus land decently close by, and the shadow start to move towards it.
I'm following after the shadow.
I guess he wants us to meet him now. That's fair. Let's go.
As you guys walk through the city and see again the Crimson Fire consume everything and the streams and all of that fun stuff. Eventually you cut through a little bit outside the city and find yourselves entering what seems like a gravesite.
Roll for initiative.
If we're facing off with Solus, Avaris is going the other direction.
So it's just barren, scorched earth we're looking at now.
Basically. You see something towards the north between these gates as walk through.
Oh, I want to walk through it, but Zillifay is going to be so mad if I do.
You say that she's not going to be already mad at you for doing this.
Also, Zillifay isn't here right now, so you can do whatever you want, really.
Oh, you guys are my conscious. Just great, good old role models.
Also, what Zillifay won't know won't hurt her. This gives like the Chaos Gremlin smile.
I'm sure Kailthas would say don't do it either.
I don't think Kailthas is saying anything, and she stares right at Kailthas.
Yeah. And like, fuck that. As you see this person walk through, it is a familiar person, as it's the one you saw when you first awoke in the in-between. As you see this individual. But As
What the
he's
kind of
go
the
ahead.
fucking sword? It's crimson fire. What the fuck, guys? Whole time.
As he walks through, the crimson fire seems to burn this visage away. As you see the face of the individual.
Cool.
You're dragonborn. Butter dragon.
He's a super dragonborn.
As
Well,
he- Okay.
I'm just gonna get Solstice like, does he actually know we're here? Can he actually see or know we're here?
As he walks up to you all, and he actually makes eye contact with each and every single one of you.
the way when he makes eye contact.
So I'm guessing you can see us then, Solus.
Hmm.
If you're all there.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because we saw the other versions of you, and I was more concerned you're gonna turn into another giant dragon monster and just scorch us.
I'm not concerned, but it would be kind of cool to see you into a dragon.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that would be awesome. Also, why show us the memories of you and Lunara going at it when you were that dragon monster obliterating everything? If you don't mind me asking.
It's better to show how things went. But now that you are here and you have asked for my presence, I can give you full answers.
Alright.
First question: how far off is Mike's theory?
He looks at the shadow, gives it scritches. He actually gets down to its level, and basically as a master and its companion. I've seen some of the things that you all went through and saw. Let me move Kailthas a bit higher. The point of showing you all this is so you can see how it all began. How I came to this plane of existence.
Is this a trust building exercise?
More like to show the need for the end.
Exactly. But I do require a trade for this information.
What do you want us to trade? What do you want on our end?
To know more about all of you.
Oh.
You know you could have just asked us in the first place.
We did not know how dedicated you were. If you still are.
Fair.
We wanted to see how far you were willing to go.
Kailthas says, I can only tell you what I remember.
Look,
Of course.
I just want to be a superhero and help protect people. That's it. So I won't really. Just drugs.
What is it that she specifically wants to know? I take it you don't want to hear about how we grew up or what's our favorite colors or our hobbies.
I mean, there's not much we remember. At least, me speaking for myself. I don't know about the rest.
Let us start with the first to introduce their idea, and looks towards Leona. Minion of Azariel. Who are you and what is it that you desire?
Oh, well, my name's Leona Hearns, and I want to be a superhero to help protect and defend people. All I really want since growing up as a kid. Be like my dad, my brothers. Be heroes like they were.
And who were they?
They are protectors of the land. Help fight against all evils that came across the land.
And
who do it?
Who do they follow?
Sarah. I would say her name, but I legitimately cannot.
Why?
It hurts too much when I say it. You guys see, every time we always trying to say Sarah Ray, she starts getting a bloody nose.
You preach that you want to be a hero. Yet, what does a hero mean to you?
Someone who wants to defend, protect, and do what they can to save their loved ones and the people around them, and the innocent. That's what it means to me.
Have you done so?
I've been trying.
A child's mere misinterpretation. You find a title that best suits what you want to be, what you want people to see you for. It's interesting. You were given so many paths, yet you denied all of them, because they were not the paths you created.
I'd rather create my own path than have to follow someone else's.
Have you grown jealous of those who have paved their own path? Do you see them as heroes and want to be the same?
I'm not jealous of them. I just admire them that they had the courage and worth to make their own path and do what they wished.
The question is, do you have the worth to be like them?
I think I do.
How will you achieve it?
I haven't quite gotten to that part yet, but what I do know is that a good way to get there is getting rid of the corruption. That's a start.
How do you plan on getting rid of this corruption?
I don't know, but I assume it just starts with defeating or trying to defeating Aiko, or at least attempting to. Since I'm sure you've seen that she's just ate everything we've thrown at her so far. So that's my best option right now to get rid of corruption.
He looks towards... Let's do rolls, shall we? He looks towards Kai. Daughter of Loth.
Ah.
Who are you and what is it that you want?
Oh wow, you just really put my whole thing out there. Okay. Well, you guys won't hear me repeat this a lot, so if you try to question further, I may not ask or answer, but who am I? My name is Kailthas. And I kind of got thrown off after you called me the daughter of Loth, right out the gate. So what was your second question?
What is it that you want?
Oof. Let's do a insight on you first. I'm suspicious. Does he seem like soulless, or does it seem like a trick?
You can tell this.
Corruption.
You could tell it's the same presence you faced when you first arrived in the in-between. Though he looks different compared to when you first saw him.
This wasn't an elaborate scheme that we were brought here by corruption to do their own bidding, right? She is kissing all points now, being that she is back into that drow thinking.
Do you ask him that, or are you kind of just getting a general, feel from him that is he part of this plot?
General feel, because she wouldn't let her suspicions be known.
With a natural 20, you are able to hide it, just barely. You can tell that he's genuinely curious, but he's also... He knows what you are, but he doesn't know who you are, and that's why these questions are being asked. He also does not care for secrets between others. This situation you're all in, this is beyond those small things.
Mm-hmm. So, forgive my impertinence, Solus. You did state we are at war, correct?
Yes.
And so, doing this, there was a moment that we were on a boat when another asked us the same questions, and they turned out to be an enemy. If I don't delve too deep into the answer that you seek, I apologize, but I also believe that you can read the in-betweens, what I might say. And with that said, can you please ask your question again?
Daughter of Loth, who are you and what is it that you want?
I stated my name already, just then. And I want an actual, true peace. I know that peace does not last from the way things are and from the visions that you've shown us. Things tend to keep doing that, but if we could live joyous and bring happiness to each other and could make a new cycle instead of hatred, anger, greed, jealousy, maybe we can all work for the betterment of each and every race together. I have met many people, and I have grown to love things about each individual, no matter what their race were.
You and me are very similar. I will share a little bit of truth of myself, as I will not hide anything. My name is Solus, the Crimson End, and I was the first corruption.
you were the first person? Is that what you said?
The first corruption.
A corruption?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wait, what? Ew. Then
And you were cleansed?
No, I still am.
You were given purpose?
Yes. Like you were Loth's weapon at one time, who wanted to be more than what they truly are. I believe your other wish is to be free from these restraints of your birth, is it not?
It is a beautiful fantasy, yes.
You believe it to be a fantasy.
All fantasies could become a reality if you work hard enough. But in the meantime, it's a story that is written. And should that story come to pass, people shall then call it prophecies of what is here and now. And there are diviners among us. And then there are foragers that take a will and make it so. I like to think I'm both. Or at least I'll attempt to be both.
You would like to leave your mark on this world.
If my mark is subtle, that it doesn't impose on people's wills, and their wills are only to live in harmony and happiness, then yes, I will leave my mark. But if my mark shall cause harm, then I much rather be the one behind the curtains, pulling the strings. Ever so slightly, the slight tug on the spider.
You are like me, but maybe a little better.
Oh, she blushes. You're something.
He then looks towards Starla. Weapon of Sulune. Who are you, and what is it that you desire?
I'm Starla. I just want to remember. Right as of now, I just want to remember what happened. I have no memories before this time.
You think in the now. Did you have anything you wanted before your death?
Starla thinks back. Can't you remember anything?
She
Can't
can
you
remember.
what she can? Okay.
She didn't lose her memories, she just didn't know how she died.
Okay. Eileen, I just want to be with her. That's all I ever wanted.
What are you willing to do for that?
I mean, almost anything.
Defy your god?
She pauses. No, I could never. And Elaine would know that. She would never ask of such a thing from me.
What if your god asked for you to throw all those things away?
She I've been nothing but faithful to her. She wouldn't have me do that. She couldn't.
I was just looking at you like, And I was like, are you sure?
I know, my god. I snap at him. She wouldn't.
There might come a time when either one might happen, and you will have to make a choice. Are you prepared for that?
She...
Starla, if it's too much to think about right now, just think about it. Don't overwhelm yourself.
She steps back and just kind of like tries hiding her face with like her shoulder, and just turns away a little.
Tools of their gods have their uses, but are predictable and normally closed-minded. Open your mind and do what you believe is right, and model those decisions off of what you believe and what your god believes. What of you, the one who has forgotten their past? Who are you, and what is it that you desire? I will send that question to to Kenny, just in case.
Kenny did I wish to make whole that is broken, to know the truth and reconnect the bonds.
Gotcha.
Kenny was
Thank
ahead of you.
Yeah. It is freeing, is it not, to not be tethered to such things? And you still want what was taken. I wonder if it would align with who you once were.
Kailthas is tight.
Yep. One isn't free if one isn't himself, just trapped in a shell that isn't himself. Solus thinks for a moment, then looks towards the last one. What of you, Changeling? Who are you, and what is it that you desire?
Avaris kind of strokes the frills on the back of his neck for a moment and breathes out. You see him change all the way to his base form. I am Avaris. As a changeling, I'm always changing, but I once desired to ease the pain of grief and of death. I once desired to give people a second chance to live again. But at every turn, this desire is challenged. It's shown as faulty, broken, dark. Even now I see around me that undying, having no death could be lead to such darkness. I still desire that, but things are changing for me. My answer will not be the same, perhaps, in the end. But I will say for certain, I will end this corruption and return to the victor.
You were abandoned once, correct?
Perhaps too many times.
Yet you made something out of nothing. All because someone offered out a hand.
Yes. Yes. I did.
I wonder what path you would have taken if you did not get offered such a choice.
Who knows? That was not my fate. And I'm glad of that.
You are very similar to what Lunara wanted. Some of you have avoided what I was asking, and I asked who you are. You gave me your names. That is what you are. Who were you before all of this?
One that brought smiles or the one that brought pain? One that's always things. And one that's manipulated and lied. I was many things. I was nothing and I was everything. Depending on what situation I needed to be. Just as Avaris is able to change their physical form, I was one that shape-shifted and made things flow in the way that I saw fitting. As to who I am now, I'm not much different. There are slight and very important differences. If you don't feel that we are all that, we change histories and fates by the end of our weapons and our spells and our words.
He nods. Looks to Kailthas. I'll just read what he typed out. I don't remember it all, but I believe I was a man that just living life full of love. As he nods to that, he looks towards Leona.
I was someone who loved her family. Someone who hated the gods, who saw the gods as lazy and saw them as complacent, arrogant, and cruel beings for allowing all of what goes on in the material plane. Someone who hated the circumstances of who had who, who has seen who can't who can look their family in the face after making my contract and deal with Lady Zariel, and someone who still feels the greatest of anger towards Serenray for not intervening and striking and helping to strike out at all of the evils and injustice in the world, while proclaiming redemption and rebirth. That's who I once was, and even now still am.
He nods. He looks towards Avaris.
You ask very difficult questions. I don't really know what I was. I could say I was a student, a searcher, a friend, but perhaps the most accurate was someone betrayed. But words don't really describe too much of what you offer.
He nods. Looks towards Starla.
I'm nothing but a tool, a mere servant for my god.
Bitch, please. You're more than that.
I live to serve.
Look deeper within yourself. If you think yourself a tool, damn, is the world a bunch of screws? I believe you're more than that. I haven't known you long enough to say completely everything that you are, but in this short time I have seen someone that was loving and caring for things that they also care about. A protector, stalwart and brave, who would put themselves at the front lines if it meant defending the ones that they care about from a few scratches.
Yes, and I do all that for Selune. Again, I am here for her, to serve her.
I don't think it's
She's-
all for Selune.
Is there anything that you want for yourself?
Yes. Eileen, I feel my faithfulness to Selune has brought me her. She has gifted me with her, and all I want is to return back so I can be with her. I know that's what Selune wants, and that's why she gave me this chance. I will be with her.
Can I whisper you something?
Of course.
She'll whisper in here. Is Eileen like your lover?
Yes. My
Oh.
partner, my soulmate.
Yeah. Takes out notebook.
I was gonna say
Raises an eyebrow.
fan fiction has begun.
Oh,
I love Kenny in the Discord chat right after I
Oh,
said
no.
that. He knows. He knows.
Well, at least it's not going to be solely focused on Kailthas now.
So,
Starla confused.
you are a beacon of hope, a warm thing of love that Eileen could find comfort in. You're more than just a tool. You are a safe place.
You know what? You're right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Solus. I didn't mean to take away. I get excited sometimes.
No, it's good. He looks at all of you. Mortals were in this plane of existence were never meant to be alone. You have all of you here, with different beginnings and different goals towards your ends. Help each other get to those ends, but still acknowledge where you came from. Accept it.
So I have 2 questions,
Of course.
Solus. The first one, when I saw hubris, and if you are hubris as well, it's going to be phrasing, but can I eventually ride you?
Avaris looks at you very indignantly. How really? That's your question.
Well, I said there's 2 questions. That one's the short and simple one, and I want to get that out the way.
I should have said that was your one question, and I'm going to send you back now. The whole session was meaningless. He kind of
I will
just.
be waiting.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I will be waiting your answer if he doesn't answer, but if he looks like he's about to say something.
He does laugh to that. That would be up to him.
Okay. Second and very, very important question. Please don't kill me on sight. She takes out the picture of Aoi. What is the connection to her? And why is she trapped?
He goes from like he was pretty calm walking into this and asking you these questions, and once you pretty much got down to business, he changed his demeanor to as such. His eyes narrow, his not towards any hate towards asking the question, but he then says, she was one of the corruptions created, and that was trapped by us.
Was created and trapped.
Not created by us, but because of us. If you want, I can share the story.
That
Yes,
would actually
please.
be helpful because something you should know, and I just kind of look like, do you want me to tell him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, she lost her memory. And she's come to me in dreams or these trances before. And I also saw her recently. And there's something out there that's going to devour her if we can't do anything. If it devours her, become an exponentially large problem rather than a chance of redemption, which was said before, such as yourself.
And hope you don't mind me asking, but what even is that thing that Kai saw with Allie? If you could explain what that was, because we have no clue what it is.
You have a couple things wrong. It is not trying to eat her.
Fact.
It is trying to break her out.
Wait, what?
Okay.
That thing,
It's a servant to her, and she's lost her memories.
yes.
So I'm gonna take a wild guess here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is acting like her equivalent to your hubris?
In a way. Corruptions cannot truly make aspects, but they can create followers that can do their bidding. When we create an aspect, it ends up creating a form of our emotions. The corruptions, when they create something close, it is merely a tool. Merely an extension of their will.
If this will breaks her out, she could be towards that corruption, but if we can break through to her, if we can, I see standing before me proof
Yes. Purpose.
corruption has to be bad.
You may try. I will not tell you if it's good or bad, or if it will succeed or not, because I do not know. I did not know the corruptions of when they were. Only when they were fully manifested.
Before we get into the story that you will tell us, why was she sealed away? Rather than, could she not be destroyed?
We weren't strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if it seems like I'm being rude or anything, but it sounds hard to believe you couldn't, considering we just saw you, I don't know, be a fuck-off dragon and then a fuck-off dragon man. Who seems like they could just smack the shit out of gods. So, I'm
we
sorry
don't-
if that sounds rude of me. I just have a hard time doubting your strength, is all.
We don't know Aui's abilities either.
Yeah,
Leona.
that's fair.
And just because this picture is depicting a cute child, that doesn't necessarily mean that she is defenseless or should be taken lightly. She like rubs her cheeks in the picture and was like, cute child.
Yeah. As you show him the picture, as you show me what she looks like, it is not what I remember of what she once was. I do not know why she has lost her memories, as we did not take those away from her.
Well, they are currently scattered, and we saw pictures, or we saw corpses of animals. And what I would assume is these fragments of her were scattered, and probably not sealed if she was so powerful. These are wandering and gaining strength by consuming. And maybe once she is broken free, they will try to return to her and restore her previous power, which will be bad.
You were more likely correct. She sent her extensions of herself in these new forms. And like you said, they are gaining strength in their own way, only to return once she is released. But in this method, you see yourself with an opening to talk to this version of her that is naive, that does not know what she once was.
Oh, what is the story of Ali? Yes, what I... She agreed to that name. She said she liked it.
I do not know her name of before she became what she is, but I do know the names of the titles of these corruptions.
Which was?
Hers was specifically She Who Loves. The ones you have
Love
already
is...
met. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, and she was saying love is a strong weapon.
Looks towards Starla and says, also can be
Fantastic shield.
a corruption, willing to do anything for such things. The ones you have met already as the Wanderer, which is those who wander, and this one that you call Aiko, which is it who hungers.
Is there a lot of who in these titles?
Yes. The two of
Is there
you...
it
Oh,
who lusts?
what was that?
Is there an it who lusts?
That would fall under the She Who Loves.
Oh jeez. What have I? Okay. Yes.
The two you have not met is He Who Hates and They Who Pity.
You know, just has that like, oh fuck it, please don't let me, please don't let them. It has that like moment of like temper.
You know
Like
you're
remember...
he who hates Leona.
No, has like remember of like, just remembers that moment like temper. It's just like, and I go pits and it's like, I hope I don't meet he who hates, it who hates.
Or you're it who hungers because you hunger for power. Either one.
Aiko's not connected to me in any way.
Is there pity for you? Or what did that one that you blast, well, you know, when you like punched her in the face, just like, oof.
Temper.
You punched her so hard and she hit the step?
What? Myra?
Did she try to pity you at all?
You mean Myra? The one that we fought in the temple?
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it.
I do not know if these corruptions have related themselves to you all. or what their plans are. Maybe they orchestrated how we met or how we picked you. But in the end, it doesn't necessarily matter.
So, Ali, she who loves, came to be. What was the story of her rampaging and being locked away? And if that was the case, how was this so unknown corruption, and even yourself, here? And then we were told that we don't know exactly what the corruption is.
Her story is our story. We knew how they were created, but not what they would become, nor fathomed how they could escape. I can share that story with you now, if you wish.
Sits down. Crisscross applesauce. Oh wait, hold on. Gets on her stomach and kicks her legs up, and then gets her notepad. You start drawing. So she's gonna try to do a quick flip book from what he describes. So let's go along and do that. Okay, cool.
Before my arrival, Lunara came here first, but you would have to ask her why she did the things that she did. As the only thing I know is that on her arrival, she woke up to the early races, the early mortals, and felt love for them, and gave them gifts. She gifted them eternal life and her guidance. In turn, they treated her like a queen and a god. When I woke up in this plane, all I knew was my purpose. Absolute destruction. I did not know why, nor did I question it. I could feel the disdain and fear of all those I killed in this plane. But I was stopped by a woman surrounded in violet light. Kind of like pauses for a bit and like zones out, and this is like reminisces. What a beautiful light. I was considered a corruption on this plane, and its people wanted me dead, as they feared what I was and the change I could bring to their perfect world. But the one who defeated me gave me pity and convinced the others to give me a second chance. For some reason, I was grateful, and in turn gave her my advice. I told her, this happiness you created will not last. I need to bring balance back to your people's hunger, or your people's hunger will consume everything. She wanted to prove me wrong. Eventually, years passed, I was the one proven right, as there was not enough resources for a growing population of immortal creatures to live in comfort. And once these races had these comforts, it was hard to give them up. Hate grew in the hearts of those creatures that wanted what others had. There were still those who loved the one who gave them their gifts and tried to stop the fighting, but to no prevail. In the aftermath, there were so many with no purpose and no meaning in their life, but could not be free. To stop the suffering, the woman, surrounded by violet light, released me to fix her mistake. That was the first time I saw Lunara cry. The leaders, who did not want to return their gifts that Lunara gave to them, fought back and created a power to overthrow us by convincing their followers to undergo rituals that created what we call now the corruptions of life.
You hear Kai whisper to herself, Fantia? As you do that.
Mimicking how the gods gained their power through worship, the corruptions were empowered by the emotions of what their followers were feeling. We did not defeat them alone. With the help of 5 other mortals who gave up their gifts willingly, we were able to destroy the corruption's vessels, but not their souls. With these 5 mortals' sacrifices, we were able to imprison the corruption souls in different planes of existence, as we, like I said, did not have the strength to destroy them. To honor those mortals and their sacrifice, our children were created in their image and represent the virtues that what me and Lunara saw in those mortals. After we trapped the corruptions, I brought an end to all those who would not give up their gifts, and those who did were allowed to continue their lives. Later it was discovered that certain races had an affinity to the gift, and is what created their longer lifespan. Me and Lunara then decided to leave the races be, as our guidance brought ruin. And we vowed to never interrupt the mortal plane, but to keep the balance, to make sure that there was always a beginning and that there was always an end.
Kai raises her hand.
Yes.
Are these gifts that you speak of the eternal life?
Yes.
Okay.
As well as knowledge that they were not ready for.
Are we ready for what the knowledge was of? Not specifically, but what was it, magic that they weren't ready
Some.
for that?
There is a reason why we created the virtues. They also monitor and keep secrets that they see mortals are not ready for, but still develop them.
Do you believe that mortals aren't ready for it?
Not yet.
What? So, Aoi is a strong vessel that was helped destroyed by the 5 heroes, sacrificed themselves, that destroyed Aoi's vessel, and you trapped her soul.
What I can tell you is about the corruptions now is that they are looking for a new vessel. A vessel that is close to what they represent. Looks at Kailthas. You were able to stop one, and even convince it, the corruption, to work with you. This whole time for Kenny, your bow has been, you almost feel like it's been shaking, either scared in anger, as you guys have brought one of the corruptions with you in this conversation. It has decided not to manifest itself.
She was terrified when I mentioned your name. But she needs a vessel, so to speak, to inhabit.
He looks at you. She does.
Can they possess a person? Or is it only gestures like towards Kailthas and the bow, as he can probably see it anyway? Object.
It seems in the case of those who wander, they turned their soul and manifested it into a vessel, but only one that can serve another's purpose.
Now, here's my question. It's something I've been wondering since our last encounters with Aiko. And concerning her case, is there even anything left of her vessel, of who they were, or is that just gone?
It seems I have not met this Aiko personally, so it's hard to say. But one can say that either the corruption fully takes over or manipulates the person into believing what it wants, or that the vessel and the corruptions, what they want aligns with one another, and they work together.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
You said that this world labeled you as a corruption. You didn't particularly like it. And you even had to be redeemed, she does air quotations, redeemed, and be allowed this. Can I call you some? Can we figure out something else to call you besides corruption if you don't like it? As well as those who wander and Potentially, Owie. I'd rather see you. I don't want to say as equals, but I don't want to see you as something that is labeled negative.
It's funny because, like, you see the mask, but you almost feel like he's smiling under it.
Mm.
You may call me whatever you wish. I do not mind if what they call me, what others label me as I have had millennia to accept it.
Well, I'm pretty sure, you haven't been called one thing by... If my hoarder of a sister is here, she would probably call you Dragon Daddy. So,
That's me laughing, not Solus.
Yeah, you have to be careful what you ask for.
I do ask to be respectful in giving my new names.
And then she will reply respectfully, Dragon Daddy. So
Cleo just gives a kind of look of like, do you really have to call this man Dragon Daddy?
I'm not calling him Dragon Daddy. I'm saying that Zillafay would, okay?
I'm sure it was only Zilfay would do it. Yes, definitely.
Whatever
I've
you need to
known
tell
her.
yourself, Kai.
I've known her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I will come up with something that isn't speaking of you and the other individuals in a negative light, like corruption. I like to think that you guys are beacons of hope. There's a spark there that should be nourished. Bites your tongue just so he doesn't say Dragon Daddy.
Concerning She Who Loves, what do you think we should do?
I leave that up to all of your decisions.
There's wandering memories. As much as I hate the thought of destroying memories as I did get on, I was pretty pissed of Silica for that. I do think that sometimes negative memories could and potentially should be snuffed out if it will influence someone in the wrong way. But I also want to nurture the love with Aoi. And also, I would like to teach her how to love not just one, but others, and how much is out there if you are able to open yourself up, rather than seeing one person and fixating on it.
The advice I will give you about this Aoi is from when I knew her as a corruption. She loved to be loved, but did not want others to love anyone but her. She did love many, though. And that's how she gained her followers. But, like I said, I will leave the decision of how you deal with these corruptions to you, as me and Lunar cannot interfere.
Alright. Honestly, thank you for your counsel, since we're just trying to figure out how to put this corruption business back in the box. Or as best we can.
Sometimes that's all you can do. There is no right or wrong in this. There's only the choices you make and the consequences that come after. God damn it.
You're going to be smited.
That's why she only thought it to herself. Okay. She can't help her thoughts, but she can help what she says. Please respect that.
And you have the nerve to call Leona horny.
She's not horny, you just
Oh man.
make good stories.
Mm-hmm.
As for me and Lunar's story, do not worry about us, as history has forgotten us, and it is honestly a good thing.
No. No one should be forgotten. I know you talked about leaving a mark before, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a mark. And I know, talking about background thing, I can see you doing it, but I don't feel that anyone should be forgotten.
I'd rather not forget you, since again, whole awesome Dragon Man aesthetic you got going on. I kind of dig it.
You're talking about me. Just straight up hit on him. Wow.
This coming from the person who just called him Dragon Daddy.
No, I said my sister would call him that. There's a very peculiar difference.
But are you thinking about calling him it?
For the two not arguing with each other about, who's the horniest. the other three, can you make a insight check on Solus?
Is this to see if he likes being called Dragon Daddy?
No.
He's smirking under that mask.
Insight?
Yeah, insight.
Please roll a 16 as well. I want all y'all to do it.
Yeah. If
Kenny might be tied up.
I'm also reading what he posted. Try to open mind to it if you are afraid.
Oh.
If you wish to say something, you can speak through me. When I said I would fix what was broken, I was speaking more than myself. I will fix the corruption and make them what they're meant to be. For the Wanderer, for Kailthas, they are still conflicted. But wouldn't mind you asking them again later, or even discussing it with them. As for the Avaris and Starla, you kind of as he's watching Leona and Kai just talk about, this stuff, not necessarily taking any mind to the conversation that's being had. You almost see him going through nostalgia again as he looks upon these 5 heroes.
something on your mind?
He kind of like almost wakes up from that trance of just, being in nostalgia. Just remembering some old memories.
Speaking of old memory. Oh, sorry.
Some old friends.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Were you going to say something, Starla?
No, go ahead.
Speaking of old memories, we have Lunara at the top. Then there's you answering to her. Who are the other four?
Huh?
He's talking about the 5 leaders.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was not one of the 5. The 5 counseled her into killing me. The 5 leaders you speak of are the 5 corruptions. They had the influence and the followers to create the rituals that turned them into such. Even after they were gone, some of what they left behind is what modeled what is today. He looks at Kailthas. Without the Wanderer's influence, I doubt the Feywilds would have the Seelie courts and the Unseelie courts they have today. I believe the Unseelie had a little bit of a connection with the Wanderer when it was trapped. But
the Seelie or the Unseelie? Or both?
Both. Though it had a better connection with the Unseelie.
Wonder if they will seek out that connection again.
I believe this Ico already pulled on that connection. And that is how, looks at Kailthas, you were involved. But for now, is there any other questions?
I want to say yes, but I just asked that question and you fried my brain a little bit more.
I have none that I can think of.
Many, but I'll seek them out as it comes. Though I trust your word to some extent, I'd like to see more answers from different people.
I do have a question once. Sorry, I was pondering my question, and I didn't hear what Avaris said, and I don't know if it needs a reply. If it needs a reply, please reply first.
Because Avaris was basically, he would like to gather information from others before continuing on, right? Correct? Noelle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wants the opinions of others as well.
So you brought us here, or some magic brought us here, and definitely showed us some memories and walking through. I have been kind of doing the same thing, and I was wondering if it's a potential way for me to get better at that. If you would please.
There is.
Please.
Unfortunately, me and you do not have enough time. But the shrine that you all found, it is connected to ruins. And the original place of those ruins, of the temple that it was once there, was dedicated to Lunara. If you wish for counsel, find a place where you can commune with her, and she will help you.
Okay. Oh boy, that's a lot of information. Avaris, is there any flowers that you like nearby?
I don't think I can take anything in this place. Unless you're willing to give me more flame of hubris, are you? An fire essence of one of you? Other than that, no.
Actually, that reminds me. Did you put the torch into your bag of holding?
I am leaving it up to you.
Okay.
If you don't want it in there, don't worry.
So, what's in your bag of holding, and how much do you care about your bag of holding? And the contents in it is the question.
Oh no.
Because if you're putting a fire of pure destruction in your bag of holding,
yeah, there are things that are definitely, burnable. Everything burnable. So yeah.
Also, Solus would have snuffed it out in some sort of way. Before you would have done such a thing. It is okay to get the fire from hubris back in the in-between if you can, but it does snuff out fast. And because I do not want certain beings to have such powers, if others are able to wield the end or my crimson fire, they would have the strength to overthrow gods. And we do not want that in the world, do we?
No.
But hear me out. 1, can I pet the puppo again?
The shadow kind of like sticks tongue out, waits.
Starts petting. See, all consensual. This leads into the next question. We are on a journey to help out stone dragons, and I do ever intend on kind of keeping up that promise to ourselves to help them out, because they're fucking cool. But we need dragon blood. I think Avaris and Planexia needed dragon blood. Consensually, is it possible to get any from you or Hubris for Avaris and Planexia?
I think that would be just as dangerous as the flame.
He kind of points to Avaris. Yeah, that
kind of thinking
that.
kind of thinking it, but it was worth a shot. I mean, they would have had, really good material to work with.
I do appreciate the honesty.
Honestly, Dragon Blood's as potent as it is already. I'm sure we'll be just fine.
Third question: what is the puppo's name?
His name is what he is, a shadow. He was my shadow.
Calling him Echo. You like that name, boy? Go.
Nipsio.
Yeah.
Not in a happy way.
Don't criticize other people's naming choices.
I was saying, I mean, I just don't I feel like things can have a name and be a little bit more personal, and rather than be like, hey, this is dog. This is elf right here.
The
that's neither here nor there.
The last thing I will tell you is the virtues and the corruptions are one side of the same coin. You mortals are that coin.
Two sides of the same coin?
Yes. The reason why the corruption doesn't affect mortals as well is because you already have that said corruption in you.
Mm-hmm. And then the healing just brings balance. That's why we're able to get rid of it, right?
Correct. But for now, our time is up. But we will meet in the future.
Just not too soon.
Hopefully it is on terms like this.
Oh. Here. Before the time is up, I'm gonna give you a picture that I drew of you being happy with the puppo.
You see the shadows of that's kind of surrounding him kind of disappear around his hand as he takes it. Thank you. I've not received many gifts in my life, but I do appreciate it.
Well, thank you for giving us the time.
He nods. He looks towards the shadow, and would you be able to guide them once again? He nods. As he starts to walk away. Do you guys follow?
Yeah. I sit back, so it's like, if me is anything, I'd still follow you as you are now.
Yeah, I'd follow.
Your nature of your physical being doesn't define who you are. You're amazing proof of that. And she'll wave and keep walking.
Yeah. Sure.
As you say that, he was walking away towards where he came from and paused for a bit and then continued on.
We always gonna open her mouth to say something that's I probably shouldn't. I don't know if it would be okay for Kailthas or not.
If you're going to do something crazy with essentially a god, please tell me so I can go very far in the other direction.
I'll get... In my defense, I was gonna be like, if dispersion stuff is all over, you want to go get high sometime?
You want death to get high with you.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Everybody's got this
You know,
stuff.
that's one of those things that I definitely want to be on another plane before dealing with. Sorry, Kai.
No, I would just let you know that. I mean, people have their things. I mean, I took a bath with one, so maybe. I mean, I don't feel like gods could get high.
Well, apparently you're not trying hard enough.
I mean, aren't they immune to that stuff?
We don't know, and that's why it'd be great to see if that's possible.
It would be an interesting experiment to see what kinds of poisons the gods would be affected by, toxins in particular.
That's when you said experiments. Like, can you please smoke this? No effect. Alright, can you snort this?
You should be glad that Avaris isn't giving you guys his failed potion to see. I was like, is this still effective?
What happens if I fuck up? Can it turn into a
Only
positive?
one way to find out.
Yeah. As you guys are walking and following the shadow, you notice that the shadows start to emanate from him as he continues to walk, and it starts to engulf all of you. And eventually, as you guys continue to follow, you lose sight of it. And eventually, you start to see a familiar night sky as suddenly you guys all appear back to where you once were. As you arrive, you see Zillife and Planexia arguing about where the fuck did they go? What should we do? And just like kind of thing.
That dog whistle. Just does like that dog whistle thing you do to get kids or your pets to stop fighting. It's like
they'd look at you.
okay, good. So we're back now.
Zillife kind of just pushes everyone else aside and then looks at Kai.
You know, I want to, and I'm going to take that damage.
I love you.
Just goes in to hug her.
Well, at first when she like gets up to your face, you see her pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most angry she've probably ever seen her.
I'm sorry.
And like she kind of takes a deep breath in and then just gives you the biggest hug that she can possibly give. You fucking dumb slut.
Yep. I'm the most stupid.
You can feel tears on the side of your face from her.
Wipes them away.
Ooh, yeah, that was appropriate for you're being destroyed by a hug right now. That's not the only form of damage you're going to be. Is this what it felt like when you lost me?
She's like starting to pass out.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good one.
Is that what it felt like when you lost me?
Worse? Well, it felt worse. Not this. It felt worse before. Like,
When we're not surrounded by everyone, me and you need to talk.
yeah. No problem.
Slaps you in the back.
You see, the thing about that, you started off with breaking my spine, so I can't feel anything.
Just walk it off.
Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
As you see the worried faces of everyone you kind of left behind unintentionally. And before you answer of what the hell happened to you guys and what you saw, that's where we're going to call the session.
Oh, okay.
Good thing I got a flip book ready.
Well, the only thing I can say was holy shit. For this session.
I actually forgot to say, as Solus, to say one thing before he left, a little retcon thing. Do not tell the virtues where their origins came from.
Oh.
Alright.
Or the aspects.
Gotcha, boss.
So I can't share the pictures with them.
You could share some of the stuff, just not the 5 hero stuff. And yeah.
And also the whole first corruption thing.
He'll think. He kind of thinks on that one. He's.
We'll be like, so. One thing it's like, so. By the way, I feel like you probably should tell them that. Hey, about this corruption thing. I was. Or still.
He'd be fine with that stuff. The virtues would have known about majority of the things that you guys have just found out. The only thing that they didn't know is the birth of the corruptions and the heroes that helped them defeat them. The minor story that would have been changed would be that Solus and Lunara defeated these corruptions permanently, and to keep the balance and peace and to guide other souls. That's what the virtues were created for. But they do not know about being modeled after heroes or even their personalities, as who knows what would happen if they found that out, and if those old personalities would come back and the person that they now are would suddenly turn into what they were.
Basically, hey, don't tell I don't want my kids to have an existential crisis.
Well, Kai is like, man, I really want to tell Helena.
So it was like, your secret's safe with me. I'm not about to have your kids go through an existential crisis.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, a little retcon thing.
Yeah. Also, holy shit for the whole major corruptions we got going on. That's a thing. So we got 5 to worry about now, or 4 more, or 3 more.
We got more than that.
You
I
guys
mean, those
saw-
are just the titles. I mean, you still got, at least Aiko, who's probably not even one of the ones listed. Among
I
with
thought Aiko was the one who hungers.
Yeah, Aiko is it who hungers.
Is that Aiko?
She's the vessel
Yeah.
for it who
For It Who
hungers.
No, it who hungers. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
so,
actual corruption is the one that you met in the portal or saw in the portal briefly. That's the actual corruption, and then Aiko's the
well,
vessel of it.
yeah, the giant fox
Yeah.
monster. And so we're now trying to help out or deal with She Who Loves. And the only ones we have left that we haven't met are He Who Hates and They Who Pity. Why do I feel scared for He Who Hates?
Weird.
Anger.
Yeah.
Stop, rage and fury.
I'm not gonna lie, we all kind of felt called out by He Who Hates. Like,
Weird.
I mean, you're fueling it.
I think I dropped hints on that too. I know I did for Aoi when Kai accidentally said hates or something like that.
yeah. I just like that a moment of why do I feel like we might have just had that self-aware moment like, oh shit, I'm probably making them stronger, aren't I? Fuck.
Hope you guys enjoyed this huge lore drop.
I did.
Oh shit.
Also, now we know who wears the pants between Lunara and Solus.
I meant to ask. I
Two.
don't know if it relates to them or not, and this is tired Anthonie brain.
Mhm.
The King of Nothing. Would Solus have known that?
That was him. When he was captured and when he first came to being and tried to destroy everything, and Lunara put a stop to him. What else do the victors call the losers?
Mm.
Just mere titles or broken titles. Those were just basically other labels that were to scorn him. And in a way, that whole lullaby was kind of the miniature history of in that moment of Solus, the first corruption attacking this old civilization of a bunch of immortals.
Alright, man, I'm gonna get off. I'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one. Thank you guys for playing.
Easy.